Did you know that Bill Gates bought 25,000 acres of land in Arizona?
A real estate investment firm owned by the computer billionaire recently bought a giant plot of land in the far West Valley for $80 million.
I'm sure it comes as no surprise since the billionaire already owns more than 270,000 acres of land in this great country. However, his investment in Arizona caught my interest for a couple of reasons. We all know how just before a raging inferno burnt it to the ground, LA County was in the process of joining the Smart City project.
So we all know the technology is rapidly transforming the world we live in, but what you might not know is that in 2020, the former mayor Garcetti actually released a plan that was the Smart Plan of 2028. That was basically a timeline on how to transform LA into a smart city. On a very base level, the plan was basically to introduce technology into different transportation systems and corporate offices, but then COVID happened and we were all forced into a technologically advanced world.
You pasty mother. So while LA is pretty much still on fire, your ass want to go on live news, have an interview with these people talking about, yeah, we're getting ready for LA 2.0, and we're just quickly trying to build this stuff and get ready for the Olympics 2028. So everybody that just lost their house and all of the stuff they worked hard for, huh? I think it's time to call for extra on that.
And after the recent fire, I think we can all agree that the smart city idea has become way more feasible. That's because the cost of reconstruction is very high and many people aren't even insured.
The insurance lawsuits are starting. For the last couple of years, insurance have been canceling policies based on claims gathered by drone photography that may not be true. I have had a ton of clients have their insurance canceled out of the blue. One client, they claimed there was standing water on his sloped driveway, which wouldn't have been possible. But he fought back and they canceled anyways. Another one, they told them their roof needed to be replaced. And rather than seeking another policy, they spent $40,000 on a roof. And then the insurance increased by $15,000 a year.
One real estate expert even said that as much as 70% of the people in Pacific Palisades may decide to build elsewhere. But how does this relate to Bill Gates and his thousands of acres in Arizona? Well, you just have to hear what kind of plans he had in mind when he bought that land less than an hour away from Phoenix.
It looks like a whole lot of nothing. An undeveloped area about 45 minutes west of downtown Phoenix off I-10 near Tonopah. But this land is now in the hands of one of the richest men on earth.
I have a dream that every child in America will attend a great school.
One Bill Gates, and his plan is a big one. Belmont Partners, an Arizona-based real estate investment group, says a firm owned by Gates dropped a whopping $80 million to kickstart the development of a brand new community there.
Check this out. If Bill Gates gets his way, Arizona could be home to a brand new cutting-edge smart city.
Now, back then, you can see that people were kind of excited by the idea of a smart city right next to an urban center like Phoenix. We all know the enthusiasm for these smart cities has turned into skepticism, and now people are not so sure if they want a billionaire's playground in their backyard. But it looks like they might not have a choice. I mean, did you know that all of a sudden, insurance companies have started dropping coverage in many parts of Arizona due to wildfire risk?
Insurance companies have been pulling out of certain areas around the country, and it's even happening here in Arizona, leaving homeowners shocked and facing even higher prices.
I'm sure many of you didn't, because no big newspaper will even glance at this story. They will only talk about it after a fire devastates the region and people will have no way to rebuild their homes. Now, I first heard about this craziness thanks to a reply to one of my tweets about the LA fires. The user wrote, "Do he freaking knows? Total investigation ASAP. I have a feeling Phoenix, Arizona is next because I just read an article that Progressive Insurance is dropping their fire policy. To me, that's a big red flag. That's exactly what State Farm did to the California residents 2 to 4 months before the fires hit. So yeah, they know it's coming. Now, the situation is far worse than just insurance cancellations. You see, even if they don't deny renewing your insurance outright, these companies just increase the rates so much that you can't afford those annual premiums anymore. One homeowner who's facing fixing this problem told a local newspaper it was all fine until August, and then all of a sudden my renewal went up from $1,450 a year to $4,500. That's more than my property taxes. She also pointed out that many people in her area are retired and on fixed incomes, so they can't just pay $3,000 to $4,000 extra every year. And because of this, these communities are now vulnerable to another fire. So, as much as I would hate to see yet another fire destroying healthy communities, I think it's going to happen again, and unless we make some noise, these insurance companies will create another gold rush for land grabbers. Now, while we are talking about Bill Gates, we have to talk about the Gavi Foundation. For those of you who are not in the loop, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is a founding member of Gavi, and I've even talked about how these two organizations are intertwined. Now, according to Wikipedia, this semi-private organization received more than $1.5 billion from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation between 2016 and 2020, which, funny enough, is the same time when Donald Trump was our president. Now, looking at these numbers, you can easily see that most of the funding to who comes from Bill Gates and his philanthropic organization. Now, the interesting thing here is that when you search Gavi Foundation on the U.S. spending website, you'll find out that it's also one of the companies that received grants from USAID. In fact, the alliance received 4 grants that pledged more than $7 billion of taxpayer money to Gavi. Now, you can check the pinned comment to find the link to this page where you can see where that money went.
That's why today I'm proud to announce the U.S. government's multi-year commitment of $1.16 billion to Gavi. This marks America's largest ever contribution to Gavi.
My question is, how can the media just let Bill Gates talk in favor of USAID when a company involved with him was benefiting from the controversial agency? It's like asking the wolf whether there should be a lock on the barn door or not. And while we are on the subject of shady government spending, did you hear about the alleged $50 billion robbery?
So more coming out from Doge. Apparently this time it's the U.S. Treasury Department, who has more waste and abuse of taxpayer funds than so far anything else that they've looked at. 23%. And it appears that there are people receiving entitlements to the tune of $50 billion with a B dollars a year that have no known social security number or ID on file. $50 billion, that's $1 billion a week in fraud and abuse. But not only is $1 billion a week going to unknown sources with no social security numbers and no valid ID. In addition to that, apparently the Treasury Department doesn't keep itemized records of their payouts. So there's no way to follow up and check as to where the money is going. So as of right now, the Treasury Department and Elon Musk Doge has agreed that going forward, the Treasury Department will now itemize all of the payments that they make, like where the money's going, to what entities, to whom. It is shocking to me, and it should be shocking to every taxpayer.
Now, the interesting thing is that as soon as Elon and Doge started looking into the Treasury, attorney generals from 19 blue states sued the Donald Trump administration for Elon's actions. As a result, a judge stopped Doge from looking into the Treasury records and even ordered to destroy copies of all documents reviewed by Elon and Doge workers. As you can expect, people on social media didn't really appreciate this legal obstruction.
The judge just banned the Secretary of the Treasury, the person who is in charge of the United States Treasury, from having access to the United States Treasury data. And in doing this, the judge cited no law, no precedent, and not even any fucking reason to do this. Oh, and the order was ex parte, meaning it couldn't be challenged. In fact, the only lawyers allowed to weigh in on this were Democrat attorney generals. They just banned the person in charge of the Treasury from accessing the Treasury. Now, all the employees that were there when Biden was in power, they still have access. So right now, the Secretary of the Treasury has less power than the people who work for him. Like, this is fucking insane that you can just get a judge in New York to say the Secretary of the Treasury doesn't get to do anything at the Treasury. And while this order is currently only for a week, these Democrat attorney generals are pushing to make this permanent. They are trying to permanently bar the Secretary of the Treasury from accessing anything at the Treasury.
Some people even made fun of these efforts to defame Elon.
Democrats are acting like cheating boyfriends right now. I'm sorry, but somebody's got to say it. I'm independent. I think there's good ideas on both sides. There's bad ideas on both sides. But what this Doge audit is reminding me of is like a girl taking her boyfriend's phone and like hiding in the bathroom. And the Democrats are just banging on the door. And they're like, you are invading my privacy. You can't go through my phone. And Elon Musk is like, yes, I can. I can see what you've been up to. And then every time Musk comes out of the bathroom, he's like, look, see what you did? They just turn it around and they're like, you invaded my privacy. This was your fault. You broke my trust.
Now, people like Elizabeth Warren have been slamming Elon Musk for what Doge is doing.
Elon Musk wants the power to decide whether or not every road repair in America goes forward, whether or not every Head Start center in America opens, and whether or not every military base anywhere in the world operates according to Elon. Elon Musk wants everyone in America to be at the mercy of Elon Musk.
The funny thing is that not so long ago, she was saying something very different.
You know, when that much money disappears, it's usually because somebody broke some laws somewhere. But if we don't look, if we don't ask, if we don't uncover it and make it all public, we'll never find out.
I wonder what changed. Now, this Treasury scandal wasn't the only thing Elon revealed recently. Apparently, he has also looked into FEMA, and he found something very concerning.
Elon just tweeted that the Doge team discovered that FEMA sent $59 million last week to luxury hotels in New York City to house illegal migrants.
Look, people have been blaming FEMA for this kind of misuse of the funds for a while now.
Throughout the week, I've been reporting how FEMA has been taking over $1 billion of our dollars that's intended for disasters and shifting it towards the illegal invasion going on right now in our country. Now, FEMA's addressing my report on their website right now, calling it a rumor, actually. They're saying that this is false. No money is being diverted from the disaster response needs. Interesting. That's very interesting that FEMA is now denying this. And the reason why I say that is, take a listen. Okay, I never divulge who my sources are behind a story, but I'm going to do it now because I don't want FEMA calling me a liar. So my source behind all my reporting is actually FEMA itself. If you go to the same website, you search these headlines, guess what? They're on their own website, okay? I pulled all of this information from their press releases.
However, now those people are downright furious. Sean Hendricks, who's been helping out victims of Hurricane Helene, wrote on his X account, "When we were saving families from sleeping in tents, FEMA was spending $59 million a week on hotels for illegals. To be clear, we do not want hotel rooms. We want money to rebuild. We could have rebuilt 2,600 homes with this money. This family is still in that RV while money pours into luxury hotels for illegals. It's a great injustice that ordinary working class people of this country had to spend one of the harshest winters in recent memory inside of tents. It's a disgrace that we can give billions of dollars to other countries for insane reasons, and yet we can't provide safe shelters for our own people. But this is just part of a policy employed by the previous administration. I mean, just look at what Marco Rubio has revealed about Social Security.
One of the things I see a lot in South Florida are people that have been in this country that maybe came from Cuba 45 years ago. They've worked here their entire lives. They retire. They get $800, $900, $1,000 a month from Social Security. And then they run into somebody who just got here from Cuba 3 months ago, is 29 years old, doesn't work, and is given $1,500 a month in benefits by our government because they're refugees. That refugee, a year later, is traveling back to Cuba 15 times. So you're a refugee fleeing oppression from a place that you now go back and visit 15 times the following year. And in the meantime, we're giving you Medicaid, food stamps, health care for your children, cash payments from the refugee fund. So imagine if you've been working here for 40 years and your Social Security check is smaller than the benefits going to a 28-year-old able-bodied person who just got here. That's real. That happens. That's happening every day. That makes no sense.
You know, what really hit me was this comment from a user who wrote, I am 74. I served 4.5 years in the military. I worked in the hospital. They tell me I am 1 credit short to get SS, and because of that, I am not entitled to Medicare or Medicaid. I had 5 children that I stayed home and took care of. Now I have to go back to work. And that is pretty much why we have lost our place in the world. A country that can't take care of its own citizens can never dream of helping other people around the world. And that's going to do it for today. I'll be looking forward to your comments because they often give me ideas for videos, so feel free to share your thoughts with everyone in the comments section below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.